Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping right into the minds of the ancient sages to explore a truly fascinating, deeply mathematical system of viewing the universe and our place within it. We're delving into Jyotish, commonly known as Vedic astrology. But listen, we aren't going to look at this through the typical lens of simple fortune-telling. Instead, we're going to study this like researchers and scholars. We're going to break down the actual astronomical mechanics and the rigorous logic that completely underpins it. Our primary source text for this journey is the monumental Brihat Parashara Horasastra. Authored by Maharishi Parashara, this text is the absolute cornerstone of Jyotish. We're going to look right past the mysticism and approach this text for what it really is, a highly structured, intricately calculated operating system of human destiny. It's essentially a cosmic clockwork, and today we're going to learn exactly how to read those gears. To unpack all of this, we'll follow a strict logical sequence. Number 1, deciphering the cosmic code. 2, actors of the zodiac. 3, benefics and malefics. 4, the power of aspects. And finally, number 5, the lords in action. Part 1, deciphering the cosmic code, the foundation of Jyotish. To really understand this ancient text, we first have to define our cosmic theater, because without a really solid grasp of the foundational astronomy, the rest of these astrological rules simply won't make sense. Now, the absolute most crucial point in any astrological chart is the lagna, or the ascendant. So what is it astronomically? It's the exact zodiac sign that appears to be rising on the eastern horizon at the specific latitude, longitude, and moment of a person's birth. This apparent rising of a sign is entirely due to the rotation of the Earth on its own axis. This single point sets the entire stage, effectively pinning the infinite spinning sky to your exact human moment. And on this stage, the actors are the grahas, which we commonly translate as planets. These are the celestial bodies that are in constant motion. As we observe them from Earth, they appear to travel through the stellar mansions, the backdrop of stars, in the sky right above us. Part 2, actors of the zodiac, the celestial stage. What's genuinely interesting about this mapping is how it visualizes the specific boundaries of our cosmic theater. The ancient astronomers didn't just look up and see a random scattering of light, they mapped it all out with incredible precision. Chapter 3 of the source text divides the 360-degree zodiac belt into 2 distinct mapping systems. First, you have the 12 rashis, or signs, commencing from Aries, which we're mostly familiar with. But layered beneath that is a much more precise division of 27 specific stellar constellations known as nakshatras. These are the 27 asterisms commencing with Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika. The planets move through these precise stellar mansions, creating the underlying data points for every single calculation. Across this backdrop, 9 primary actors perform. We have the visible bodies, the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. But crucially, Parashara also includes 2 shadowy, non-luminous planets, Rahu and Ketu. These are the ascending and descending nodes of the moon, the exact mathematical points where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic. Because they are orbital nodes, they are always exactly 180 degrees apart in the sky. Part 3, benefics and malefics, the nature of the actors. Just like in any gripping drama or complex narrative, these planetary actors play very specific inherent roles. Some are naturally equipped to be helpful and constructive, while others introduce necessary friction, challenge, and conflict. The text explicitly categorizes them by their foundational nature. The heavyweights like Saturn and Mars, along with the Sun, Rahu, and Ketu, are classified as malefics. They act as forces of separation, discipline, or harsh reality. On the other hand, Jupiter and Venus are categorized as benefics, forces of expansion, comfort, and wisdom. Mercury is highly adaptable. He actually becomes a malefic if he joins a malefic, and a benefic if he's with a benefic. So a really crucial takeaway here is that a planet's role can actually shift based on astronomical phenomena. The moon is the perfect example of this. According to the text, a bright, increasing moon during the Sukla Paksha, which is the bright half of the lunar month, is a powerful benefic bringing real auspiciousness. But a dark, waning moon during the Krishna Paksha acts as a malefic. The literal physical light of the planet dictates its energetic output. Part 4, the power of aspects, planetary interactions. Now, the real magic, and frankly, the real math, happens when these actors look at each other across the stage. This is a concept known as planetary aspects, or drishti. This isn't just about where a planet sits, it's about where its influence mathematically lands. To evaluate an aspect, you don't just guess. First, you deduct the longitude of the aspected planet from the aspecting planet. If that sum exceeds 6 signs, meaning 180 degrees, you move to step 2 and deduct the sum again from 10 signs, or 300 degrees. Finally, you convert that sum into degrees and divide it by 2. The result is the Drishti Kona, the exact quantitative value of the aspectual angle. We are talking about pure, rigorous geometry here. While all planets cast a full glance directly across the cosmic stage at the 7th house from their position, the outer, heavier planets have special asymmetrical aspects that dramatically alter the chart's math. Saturn uniquely aspects the 3rd and 10th houses from itself. Jupiter aspects the trines, the 5th and 9th houses, and Mars intensely aspects the 4th and 8th houses. These special rules create an incredibly complex web of intersecting influences. Part 5. The Lords in Action, Predicting Destiny. To truly understand the human impact, we have to look to the specific houses, or bhavas, which are mapped out in the traditional diamond chart. Starting from the central top diamond, the first house, or ascendant, the chart maps out 12 distinct areas of human life, covering everything from your body and wealth to career and liberation. We analyze exactly where the Lord, the ruling planet of a specific house, resides to decode its impact. This brings us right into the heart of chapter 21, starting with verse 1, which details the specific effects of the third Lord. Let's break this down systematically. The literal translation states that if the Lord of the third house sits in the ascendant, the physical body, the native will be valorous like a lion, wealthy and intelligent. The simple English meaning is that strong personal drive directly empowers the self. Astrologically speaking, the third house governs courage, drive, and siblings. So when its ruling planet is placed in the first house, that energy of pure drive is injected straight into the person's core identity. The practical significance? You get someone inherently equipped to forge their own path. But conversely, if that exact same third lord falls into the difficult 8th house of sudden changes and turmoil, that drive becomes corrupted. The text strictly warns the native might become a thief, derive their livelihood by serving others, and face a troubled end. The geometric placement literally changes everything. Moving sequentially, chapter 21, verse 2 explores the fourth lord, which is the ruler of happiness, the mother, and domestic peace. When the fourth lord sits in its own fourth house, it operates perfectly in its pure domain. The literal translation says, the native will be a minister, wealthy, skillful, and virtuous. The astrological meaning here is that foundational happiness is secure and entirely self-sustained. Practically speaking, when your internal foundation of happiness is completely solid, you naturally thrive in society and draw immense respect and stability. And if we look at it shifting to the highly auspicious 9th house of fortune, that happiness expands outward, making the person dear to one and all, devoted, and deeply honorable. But watch what happens if that exact same fourth lord drops into mathematically difficult terrain. If it goes to the 6th house of enemies and obstacles, the text dictates the native will be literally devoid of maternal happiness, given to anger, and ill-disposed. Relegated to the 12th house of loss, the native is stripped of domestic comforts and may become indolent or foolish. The planet itself hasn't changed at all, but the geometric angle of its manifestation has completely altered the human experience. And this brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy of Maharishi Parashara and summarizes the profound mechanics we see in chapter 21. This ancient system is absolutely not random, intuitive fortune-telling. It is a meticulously calculated cosmic clockwork. As he states, based on the ascendant and the planets joining and departing from each other, the native's good and bad effects are deduced. It is strictly from this exact mathematical joining and departing that the effects of a native's life are logically deduced, which provides a perfect foundation for the subsequent chapters where these planetary combinations become even more complex. We've moved from the literal rotation of the Earth to the rigorous geometry of planetary aspects, all the way to the specific psychological outcomes of the third and fourth lords, which leaves us with a fascinating final thought. Is this explainer merely detailing ancient celestial math? Or are these intricate, rigorous formulas genuinely the underlying code of our lives? I highly encourage you to keep researching, keep questioning, and always keep looking up. Thank you for joining me for this